Welcome to the Heels on Water podcast. This is where we learn to walk on the water in our storms with the courage, confidence, and grace we were designed with. I'm your host, Dr. Alette, and I am glad that you found our boat. So let's put on our heels and get ready to step out on that water. Can you remember a time when you talked about an experience with someone and their opinion of that same experience was totally the opposite of your opinion? Perhaps a time when one of you saw it as a complete disaster and the other viewed it as a good thing. Then both of you looked at the other one with amazement and a very interesting conversation followed, each trying to sway the other's viewpoint. How does that happen? Shouldn't it be one or the other? Wouldn't it be obvious? Life is a series of experiences. The fact is, experiences in themselves are neither good nor bad. They just are. They happened and exist in the cosmic timeline. It's our subjective judgment that determines their goodness or badness. The tipping point usually is how the experience makes us feel. We decide what they are. Yes, we actually do get to choose if something is good or bad. Regardless, how we respond will determine how it affects our lives. Have you ever heard the phrase, choose your hard? Whether an experience is easy or hard depends on how you think and on factors at the moment, such as your skills, training, access, resources, your time available, your willingness, etc., but not your feelings. Living life can be hard. Most things will either be hard for you or hard on you. You choose to be the mover and shaker or the victim. Choose your hard. Throughout my life, I've had many hard experiences. Absentee father, divorced parents, loss of marriages, loss of a pregnancy, loss of job, loss of a place to live, loss of material possessions, loss of dreams, loss of family relationships, even loss of self for a while. By far, the loss of my husband and the grief was the hardest experience I had ever faced in my life. As with all of the losses and hard experiences, I had choices of how I would deal with the new reality and the pain. As I saw it, I had 4 choices actually. These are the same 4 choices you have when you're faced with hard, painful experiences, when you're faced with your storms. The 4 choices of how to respond are hiding from the pain, standing still in the pain, forcing a desired outcome because of the pain, and facing down the pain. I've tried and lived through all 4, so believe me when I say that I can understand why you would choose any of them. But please also know that I want the best for you, and even if what I tell you on this side of my experiences sounds hard, ultimately, you must choose your hard and choose how you will respond to your storms. Jesus told us, as quoted in John chapter 16, verse 33, I have told you these things so that in me you may have peace. In this world you will have trouble, but take heart. I have overcome the world. The question is not whether we will have storms. The question is how we will navigate them and if we will arrive at peace on the other side. I heard the story of a 12-year-old girl who gave herself 15 minutes at a time to cry alone in her bedroom. She was the youngest of 4 children, so she knew it would be only minutes before someone barged in. She needed to keep her unexplainable, constant sadness hidden. To her family, she was a happy, carefree, bright, and cheerful girl. She was Daddy's little girl, the baby of the family, who played with dolls and used her smile to get her way with her parents. But she didn't want to come out of her room. As a child, she had no idea that she was suffering from depression. The girl convinced herself to continue to hide her feelings because her father worked in the local church. She was determined to keep up the appearance to be the girl her parents were raising her to be. Now, granted, in the moment, hiding from the pain seems like a good idea because it delays unwanted outcomes or consequences. However, hiding from the pain is actually hard because it also delays the desired outcome, which is relief from the pain. Hiding delays progress toward getting to the other side of the pain and to peace. Now, what does it look like to hide from the pain? As women, we are professionals at delaying tactics because there are plenty of things for us to do to occupy ourselves with our responsibilities. See if you recognize yourself in any of them. We do things like staying busy in service to others, taking care of others, homemaking, and overworking or working in hyperdrive. Something else we do is pretend the thing did not happen to create an illusion of neutrality or that nothing changed. This is hard on you because you now feel isolated. No one knows you need help, and you make no forward movement through or away from the pain. The pain persists. Will you choose this hard? Do you remember those old action movies where people would run through the jungle and run right into a pit of quicksand? Immediately they would start sinking, and often the only evidence of the person being there would be a hat floating on top of the quicksand. Now, Encyclopedia Britannica and National Geographic both report that those scenes were extremely overdramatized. Even if a person struggles in the quicksand, she will not sink any lower than her waist because of the buoyancy or lack of density caused by the big pockets of air, otherwise called lungs, in her torso. But she will be stuck. Standing still in the pain is hard because it's like getting caught in quicksand and refusing to get help out. If you don't look for or ask for help getting out of the painful place, you will remain stuck and unlikely to be able to get yourself out. While it's not impossible to get yourself out of quicksand, it is difficult. Generally, a person needs help getting out of quicksand, as well as getting out of painful places. What does it look like when you're standing still in the pain? You are dwelling in or parked in the painful part of the experience in a point of view where it is difficult to see any light. You may even refuse help to find the light. Sometimes your women friends, who are natural caretakers, will reach out to you to help you, but you must extend a hand back to accept the help. This becomes hard on you and hard on the one offering assistance if you don't reach back and you stay stuck in the pain. Even worse, if you fight them while they're trying to help you. The pain only persists. Will you choose this hard? A little girl told her mom she wanted to put a puzzle together. In another room, folding clothes, the mom said, "Okay." After a while, the little girl asked her mom for help with the puzzle. The mother asked the girl what the puzzle was supposed to be when it was completed. The girl responded that the picture on the box had a tiger. Mom went to help the girl and told her, "We will never get a tiger out of these pieces. Now let's put these flakes back into the box." Sometimes, when something happens that we don't like and causes us pain, we will create a hard situation for ourselves by trying to force an outcome that is not a natural result of the pieces we have of the experience. When this happens, you become stalled from any movement forward, even if you want to move forward. The little girl wanted to put the puzzle together, but she didn't have pieces for the puzzle she thought she saw. What does it look like to force the desired outcome? You do not recognize what is actually needed and what does not apply toward getting to the other side of the storm. There will be no progress out of the pain. The results of forcing the desired outcome are frustration and bitterness. When the desired outcome does not materialize, frustration and bitterness can bubble up quickly or they can fester and leak out slowly, or have a delayed release. This becomes hard on you and on those around you when the frustration and bitterness are released, often on innocent bystanders, and you make no forward progress out of the pain. The pain persists. Do you want to choose this hard? Before the internet was even a thing, a graphic circulated by media and by email of a bird with a long neck, maybe a sandhill crane, trying to eat a frog and already has the head of the frog in its mouth. However, the frog is reaching around the sides of the bird's mouth and choking it. The caption reads, "Never give up." Whenever I think of that picture, I cheer for the frog, and I think that bird must have regretted wanting frog legs for dinner that night. Your pain may come to you looking ominous, as I am sure the crane looked ominous to anyone viewing the situation of the frog. However, that was not the view the frog had. That frog faced down his threat, no pun intended, and fought back in the midst of his pain. If we were privy to the next frames, I would bank on the frog not being eaten, but being freed by the choking crane. Facing down your pain is hard, but it is a hard that diminishes. When you look up, you realize that you've moved forward, and as you move, the pain eventually diminishes. Wouldn't you prefer to choose this hard? I found the diminishing return of pain to be true as I faced down the storm caused by my widowhood, my most painful experience with ongoing and new pop-up pain. I've been practicing facing the pains and dealing with them head-on. The first encounter is always the hardest, but the subsequent times are progressively easier. If I choose to endure the first hard, then I can encourage myself to deal with the succeeding ones because I survived the first one. Let me share with you a thought that encourages me. I have a 100% survival rate for everything that I've been through. And so do you. As you are taking your steps facing down the pain and walking through your storm, you will be labeled as strong when you feel like you are simply taking the next right step for you and surviving. I've learned that strength, like beauty, is in the eye of the beholder. While people outside of your head will perceive you as resilient, self-confident, tough, brave, and not easily disturbed. These are all synonyms for strong. You know you are simply determined. Determined to survive moment by moment and determined to keep your balance. What does it look like to face down your pain? I can tell you it'll be helpful to have a support system or community around you. They help and encourage you and can remind you to give yourself grace and permission to take baby steps in this process. This is a marathon, not a sprint. Remember that you may still be walking through your pain or storm when others have forgotten, or it's just not in the front of their mind any longer. What has been most helpful to me is to think of the pain as a bully and fight back. I don't know anyone who likes to be bullied. I refuse to be bullied, and you should too. Fight back with determination, scriptures, and a process that helps you strengthen your faith to walk on the water. Don't think of the pain as something too hard or too ominous to overcome, but as a challenge to be tackled, like wearing heels. There's a process to learn to walk well in high heels, just like there's a process to learn to walk through the pain in your storm to get to the other side, to arrive at peace. Now, if you want to learn more about how I can help you personally to walk through your storms, visit my website, AletteStevens.com, for the services and resources that I have for you. I'm looking forward to being out here on the water with you, so follow the Heels on Water podcast so you know when the next episode leaves the dock, and share the podcast with a woman you care about. Heels on! Eyes up. Talk to you next Tuesday.